Welcome back to Eye on Horror, the official podcast of iHorror.com. It's been a while. This is episode 144, otherwise known as season 8, episode 4. I'm your host, James J. Edwards, and with me, as always, is your other host, Jacob Davidson. How you doing, Jacob?
Doing much better. I had a really bad sinus infection that took me out for the first half of April.
Yikes.
Ease 'em.
Yeah, glad you're feeling better. Also with us, as always, is your other host, John Correia. How you doing, Correia?
I'm devastated.
Yeah, you got some really terrible news.
Yeah. After a year, for the last year, the thing that has kept me going, the thing that when I am at wit's end, the end of my rope, all that stuff, the thing that's been keeping me going is it's all right. Keep living. You're seeing Kylie Minogue in Denver at the end of April. And wait, Jay, are we a minute in, like with the intro music? Yep. And all that stuff we're about? Okay, cool. So I can swear now. Awesome. They fucking canceled my Kylie Minogue concert for a fucking sports game. And not even that, it's a fucking Colorado basketball game. Like, fuck off.
There you go. Denver Nuggets. They're in the playoffs. And to kick balls even more, the Colorado Avalanche are in the playoffs, so they can't even just reschedule.
Well, they couldn't even reschedule for later that week anyways, because Kylie's coming to Los Angeles on May 2nd, which I can't afford to do either. So it's just like, and so they fully canceled it. They're refunding everybody, but it's just like, you fucking, is that a hate crime? That's a hate crime. Canceling Kylie Minogue for a fucking sports game. Fuck you.
A hate crime.
Also,
well, hey, at least she decided to come here because, hey, if I was from another country, she's Australian. I don't know if I'd set foot in America.
Dude, but this tour, it's 2 albums worth. It's Tensions 1 and 2. It's the Tensions tour. Padum. Come on. Like, this is a massive tour. She's touring all over the place. And like, anyways, I'll get over it at some point.
They wouldn't even trade your tickets for another city.
No.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Boo.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's try to cheer you up. There has been a ton of cool shit that's come out. Hey, look, you've even got me cussing. A ton of cool stuff that's come out since last time we talked. Please tell me that you both have seen Sinners.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That is now the one that's the one thing that's keeping me going now. I was talking with my therapist and they're like, so what's keeping you going? And I started to say, oh, well, well, it's the fact that, and they stopped me right there. They're like, don't say there's a Predator movie coming out. And I was like, well, fun fact, there's actually 2 coming out. And they went, oh, okay, that's a pretty good reason to live. But no, so that was beginning of yesterday. And then last night I saw Sinners.
Oh my God, so good.
That's
so
giving
good.
me will to live, baby. I am living to go see that movie. Like, I walked out of the theater, I was like, do I try to make the 10:45 screening as well? Because
electrifying.
Got to be up pretty early to record that podcast. But like, fuck me.
So good.
Yeah. Although, let me ask you guys, how did you see it? Because I saw it in 70 millimeter at the Vista.
I saw it in IMAX, not 70 millimeter, but it was on an IMAX screen. And the thing is, especially during one particular scene, which everybody knows that scene.
Oh, yes.
You want that on not only the biggest screen possible, but the best sound system possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's incredible. I saw it in just regular IMAX. And so like the aspect ratio changes were insane, especially for the siege scene later, where like it just like slowly like rolls out into fill the screen, and you could just my nipples got so hard from that. But no, the opening of the veil scene, I still wear a mask in the theater, but I had the dumbest look on my face. I felt it, and it was there the entire time. Like, my jaw was down and my eyebrows were in a like, the fuck? Like, I just couldn't believe that they fucking did that. It's so
Sinners as a movie is freaking awesome. I think it's a step below Companion for my favorite of the year so far, but only because Companion was an experience, because I got to see it before all of the spoilers got out. Sinners is the complete package. It is such a freaking It's an experience. It's
Uh,
basically it's Ryan Coogler who did, Creed and Black Panther and all those. And of course his man Michael B. Jordan, who is in every movie of his. But there's two Michael B. Jordans because he plays twins who they allude that they work for Al Capone in Chicago, but they work for the mob in Chicago. And they come back home to their little town in Alabama and they want to open a juke joint.
Mississippi.
yeah.
Yeah, is it Mississippi? I thought it was Alabama. But anyway, somewhere in the Jim Crow South, yeah. And they want to open this juke joint, and they have the connections and they have the money now, but there's evil in them woods, and there's a hardcore From Dusk Till Dawn influence on this movie, because it starts out being about these guys open up their juke joint and it ends with pure evil raining down upon their juke joint. So that's so good though.
Yeah. And the through line theme of music and the soul of it, because it's 1930s, so it's very heavy influence of the blues and rock and things of that nature. And the through line of it is just so gorgeous. This is really amazing bit early in the movie where first and foremost, everyone shines in this movie. I don't think there's a single bad character. Everyone has a moment. There's incredible music performed. The score by Ludwig Göransson is just, there's definitely some Goblin influence towards the end.
But also the score, it's like it goes through a lot of this Robert Johnson Crossroads blues, but then they'll put kind of this Reznor Atticus thing underneath it where you're like, okay, there's the devil coming out of it. Oh, yeah. The score and the sound to this movie are so beautiful.
Yeah.
This movie is just the whole package. I mean, it's as close to a perfect movie as I think we're going to get this year.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how well it's done too. Like I've been trying to see it in 70 millimeter IMAX at the Universal AMC, and it's been sold out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's why I had to see it at Burbank 16 and sit in the very back row last night, because even during the week, everything was sold out. So, yeah, I'm definitely trying to see it over at City Walk. But the cast was incredible. Especially a huge shout out for Delroy Lindo, who, is a great actor, is always a supporting actor. And in this, he really shines. And I mean, he's just so good on so many levels. He's fucking hilarious. But there's this one particular bit where they're driving in a car and he's talking about what happened to a buddy of his in 1930s Jim Crow South. And of course, it's not a happy tale, but he starts to like get really emotional, really worked up. And then he just instantly starts turning that into a blues song. And it's just like, it's like Coogler and Co. perfectly captured like what music is, in particular that, and then also tying that into Irish jig as well, and showing like the similarities. Like there was,
my God,
I love that the villains were doing a lot of Irish jig music, and no one was just like, get the fuck out of here with that music. Like they were like, oh, these guys are good. Like
that was the craziest river dancing scene I think I've ever seen.
My body left my soul.
That was the funny thing. They can't, and I mean, it's a little on the nose that the head vampire's white, but when he rolls up and they start, they want to come in and they want to jam the juke joint. And they're playing like this, Mumford and Sons kind of folk. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's the whitest song you could ever envision anybody ever playing. But even the juke joint people are like, this sounds pretty good,
They're real good. Yeah.
I mean, it's not what we want to hear in here, but these white boys can play.
No, it wasn't even about like, I don't know about that music. It was literally just like, this is a safe space for us. There's plenty of other places you can drink. There's plenty of other places that you can perform. This is for us. And that was the initial like, all right, you need to go. But like they were considering it. And yeah, I mean,
I've read a lot of interesting analyses and responses to the movie. Delroy Lindo himself said he didn't really consider the movie a horror movie so much as a allegory for assimilation.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man. And then the camera work, the how insane what they were able to do with the IMAX cameras was the 65. I mean, Autumn Durald, who is the DP, she's got an eye, man, because she also did Palo Alto, Wakanda Forever, The Last Showgirl. But I was more like, oh, I could see why Coogler has been working with her a lot, because she did Teen Spirit, which was also beautifully shot. So yeah, I'm excited to see where she keeps going.
The Last Showgirl was beautifully shot, but it's a completely different vibe than Sinners. So she's real versatile too.
No, that's what I'm loving about her body of work. Like all those movies I just mentioned, completely different looks, completely different things, but through line is just like, you know what, like the camera is incorporated in fully telling the story and the themes, and it's a part of it. Like Last Showgirl was like what, a lot of handhelds on 16, and you really felt like you were in there. Whereas this, if you were more, it was more ethereal, like moving around, a lot more static, and yeah. And I will. This is a rarity. That movie had like 4 endings, and I wanted 5 more. Like I was just like eating it up, and I genuinely got so fucking excited. It's a cameo. I don't know if a whole lot of people would be stoked for it, but Buddy Guy popping up, like one of the greatest guitarists of all time, blues singer. I mean, when he popped up, I almost ran out of the room because I was just like, no fucking way. You making a blues movie and you get Buddy Guy in it? Coogler is working some fucking magic in here. My only thing is I now, because like if you're gonna franchise this, which Coogler signed a historic deal with this, in that he gets the rights back after 25 years.
And that's the thing. People are joking that they need to go the route of like freaking Amityville with this movie, for the 25 years. For the 25 years that they have it, they just need to exploit the crap out of it, because you're right. This is a deal. And this is a deal that, I mean, Ryan Coogler, he's made a name for himself, but he's not a household name. This is not Scorsese or Lucas or Spielberg. So for him to be able to demand, hey, and in 25 years, I get these rights, and for them to go for it. I mean,
yeah, but the movies he's made have grossed over $1 billion. Like he's made studios billions. So I mean, he's definitely commanded it. But if they were to do a sequel or something, I want a spinoff. I want to know more about those Native American vampire hunters.
I know,
because they pop up for a second, but they have a presence. Like y'all have a story, and I want to know what it is, because they were cool as shit. I love that they're just like, night's coming. Nope. Out.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I kind of expected them to roll up and save the day at the end, but then when you think about it, you're like, oh, nah, they did their duty, and it's kind of one of those deals where they just wanted to drive it away from them, and it's white boy's problem now. It's
well, that's the thing. Like they're smart enough, not to hunt vampires at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what Jay and I were messaging last night, because I was like, these guys are so cool. I want my own movie. They're like, yeah, but they just kind of noped out of there. It's like, yeah, they knew better. They knew better than just stay after dark with that around.
They were smart enough. So anyway, bottom line, go see Sinners if you haven't, because it's amazing. It's one of the movies of the year. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be on all of our top 10s. Probably in the top 5 on all 3 of them, I would guess. But anyway, let's move on. Another new thing that came out. Have you guys seen Drop?
No. I didn't see Drop.
Not yet.
First of all, Drop it's a new Blumhouse movie. It's not a horror movie so much as it is suspense. You know what it is? It's Red Eye. For a different generation, because it's about this woman who she's a widow, a widow with a young kid, and she goes on a blind date, not a blind date like a dating app date. And when she gets this high scale, fancy pants restaurant, and the date, I mean, he's charming, he's good looking, she's pretty happy, but then she starts getting these airdrops on her phone, and at first they're just like little teasing memes, but then they start saying things like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do, and they're giving her these things to do. And then they're sending her pictures from her security camera at home where there's a guy in a mask in her house that's going to kill her son if she doesn't do this stuff. So it's very red eye. And it's actually pretty well crafted. It's Christopher Landon, who he's mostly written more than he's directed, but like Happy Death Day and even Hard Eyes, he's in the Blumhouse stable. And it's pretty well crafted. It's pretty well put together. It's contained, and she knows someone in this restaurant is sending her these drops because you can't airdrop across the country. So she knows it's somebody within her line of sight. So it's a pretty good mystery that gets built up. I really liked it until I didn't. It kind of goes off the rails towards the end. I feel like the writers didn't quite know how to get the people out of this situation. So it kind of goes off the rails towards the end. But as far as, the first two acts and probably half of the third act are all really good. And then it just kind of drops off, but it's pretty fun. I mean, I don't know that it's going to be remembered much past this year, but I mean, it's definitely worth watching though.
Yeah. I mean, it looked fun.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. And speaking of fun, anyone else see Death of a Unicorn?
Yes.
Yeah.
It delivered what it promised.
I really like Death of a Unicorn.
Yeah, I had a fun time.
Were you disappointed, Correia? That was kind of a eh.
I mean, it's fine. I had some fun with it. I think it needed more camp. It needed to be like at least 25% more camp because it felt like it was on that line a lot. I feel like Will Porter knew the assignment and
he totally
went ham with that. I loved the creature design and the kills were a lot of fun.
And the practical effects unicorn.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff with that. I just felt like if you're going to do a biting satire about like, the greed of the rich and using up resources and all of that jazz, like you got to go a little bit more. You don't have to go full on society with it and over the topness, but if you're using like unicorns to tell that and all that stuff, like I just needed it to be a little bit more camp. And
I thought that it was campy. I mean, the thing is, Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega are not. They are like the straight men. But the entire family, the pharmaceutical baron family, I thought they were all completely camp. I mean, Tia Leone
she's great.
She just overacts in all the right places. I mean, it was Jurassic Park 3 for her.
Yeah.
That's what this kind of reminded me of. It was like a Jurassic Park. See, you guys know me. I don't really do any research going into these things. So I was not expecting Death of a Unicorn to become a full-on creature feature, but it does. It is like it, because the short synopsis, the elevator pitch is Paul Rudd and his daughter Jenna Ortega are cruising to. He's a lawyer doing work for this pharmaceutical family, and he's trying to muscle his way onto their board. So he's cruising to their house, and it's through this isolated forest, and they hit and they think they kill a unicorn. So they throw it in the back of the car and they continue up to the house. But of course, the thing's not dead, and chaos ensues all over the place with this unicorn.
Yeah, and then it turns out that the unicorn has extremely healing properties with its blood and horn, and the people that they're meeting are the heads of this big ass pharmaceutical company. And also, I do love that Richard E. Grant is there as the ruthless pharma CEO. Like, he really nailed that, and also being a big game hunter.
Yeah, well, and he's also dying, and like that's part of the reason why Paul Rudd's going up there, because they have to transfer his company. But when they find out that the horn and blood have these properties, of course, it heals him and he sees dollar signs. So yeah, it's kind of, it's kind of a biting satire, but it's also just a freaking monster.
Yeah, like we get a lot of violent unicorn-based kills with people getting stomped, stabbed, bitten, hooved.
Yep, they're you get a lot of good carnage.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because again, Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega could have camped it up hard and been a part of that fun, but it felt like there was two different movies going on, and they didn't really want to like lean into it, and I yeah.
So you're saying that the scientists are the only ones that should have been played it straight?
Yeah, I mean, again, it had a lot of fun moments. It's not a bad movie. I was sitting there just wanting a bit more.
The guy who stole it for me was Griff. He's kind of a butler caretaker of this pharmaceutical family. And anytime some shit needs to be done, they're like, "Oh, Griff, go do it." And he's like, "Oh, you gotta be fucking, you go out in the front yard and do something while these unicorns are out there." He's like, "You gotta be kidding me."
Yeah, no, he was great. That's Anthony Kerrigan, who plays NoHo Hank from Barry. And yeah, no, he was really good in it as just being, kind of the straight man in the situation of like, you're seriously asking me to go out there where the unicorn just ripped apart a bunch of people.
Oh, but the thing that super disappointed me is they had Jessica Hines in it, who is from Spaced, and they gave her like no comedic moments at all. Like she was the most straight man character out there, as like the head of security or something who is like trying to take it down and stuff. And I'm just like, how do you have Jessica Hines in your movie and you don't allow her comedic chops to like shine? And I think that's the thing, is you had a lot of people, like even Paul Rudd, where it's like, there's no goofy Paul Rudd in this. Like, where's my goofy goober? Come on.
Yeah, they didn't have him play ridiculously, but they did. Yeah, they had him be a bit more deadpan in that he was kind of a dumbass, because like a Jenna Ortega is having like the spiritual moment with the unicorn, and then he bashes its head in with a tire iron, like stuff like that. I thought was pretty funny, but
I did love the reveal of how they discovered the magical properties, because when he bashes its head in, because he thinks he's doing it a favor by putting it out of its misery, but the blood splatters up on him, and all of a sudden he doesn't need his glasses anymore because the blood got in his eyes. And Jenna Ortega's, she has acne at the beginning of the movie, and it clears up, and you're like, okay, something's going on with what splashed on there. Yeah. I really had fun with Death of a Unicorn. I thought it was good.
yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Have either of you guys seen Warfare?
No, haven't gotten to that yet.
Not yet.
Taking it to the opposite end of the spectrum, we're going to go not fun. Warfare, it's the new Alex Garland, and it was co-written and directed by a guy who lived it, a Navy SEAL.
He was a consultant on Civil War, right?
Was he?
Yeah, I think that's how him and Garland knew each other.
Yeah, his name's Ray Mendoza, and he maybe that with his consulting, Garland's like, there's a movie there. Here's the thing with Warfare. As an experience, it's amazing. It drops you right into this. There's basically this SEAL team that's laying down sniper fire for another operation, and they get pinned down themselves. They're in Iraq, and they basically take over this house, and they're laying down fire, and they have to be extracted. And it is basically just this visceral, intense experience. And there's no fat on it at all. It is about 90 minutes, and it goes, there's a little prequel deal where they show the soldiers, having fun before hell breaks loose. And there's a little afterwards thing, which is kind of interesting, because the afterward, they show the actor next to the real soldier that he played, because this is all a true story. And about 2/3 of them, the actor, the real soldier's face is blurred out. And I'm wondering, is that because they're still active duty SEALs and they don't want to blow their cover, or did they not sign releases? Or, I was wondering why these guys their faces were blown out. But as an experience, it puts you right in the warfare. And I don't think I've seen it as immersive of a warfare movie since like maybe Dunkirk, where the only reason Dunkirk was immersive is because of the sound. It's the whole experience. But to me, Warfare feels like part of a bigger movie. Like from a story standpoint, it feels like just like a big long, it feels like the climax of a longer movie. So, A plus for the experience. I give it a C plus for actual narrative.
Yeah, I heard it compared to Black Hawk Down. What do you think?
I haven't seen Black Hawk Down, so I don't
Oh.
know. But but it is. I mean, basically the whole thing is them having to pull these soldiers out, and it's kind of funny because at one point, one of the tries of pulling them out, and this happens actually fairly early, they hit an IUD. And one of the soldiers gets completely messed up. His leg gets blown off. And for the rest of the movie, in the street out in front of this house, his leg is just sitting there. And you're like, someone pick that up. I mean, he's going to need that. I mean, it's kind of morbidly humorous, that the parts of this poor soldier are strewn about the house, because they pull him in, but, his leg is still out there. So, that's part of the deal is they're like, no man left behind. And they're like tourniqueting him and they have to give him morphine and all this, the guys who are wounded, they're trying to keep him alive while another, and they do this thing that's really kind of cool. They call it show of force, where they call in an airstrike, but the airstrike doesn't actually launch any missiles or guns. It just flies real low over the street, which obviously causes like a big sonic boom and kicks up dust and everything. And it's disorienting. So it gives them some cover to like do whatever they need to do. But they'll call in, we need a show of force here. And then like an F-16 will just fly real low and blow everything, figuratively blow everything up, not literally launch any, because, they don't want to completely obliterate this city block. But they do want to lay down some cover for these people. So I thought that was kind of interesting. A little peek behind the curtain of Navy operations, I guess.
Yeah. On another opposite end of the spectrum, did any of you guys see Freaky Tales?
No, but I did win a letterbox contest with it. So, haha, Jacob, you're not the only one who wins stuff. I won something.
Okay,
finally.
You got me there.
I'm getting a T-shirt.
Oh, damn. I wanted that T-shirt. But anyway, I wasn't really sure what to expect going in, but it just sounded pretty out there. It's basically not a horror anthology, but an anthology of kind of these different colliding plot lines in 1987 Oakland. And it kind of hits a bunch of different genres because like there's a story about these punks who keep on getting attacked by the skinhead gang and they decide to defend themselves, and about this up and coming girl rap duo who try to hit it big, and Pedro Pascal plays this leg breaker who wants to get out of the business. And the final story, and the craziest one, is about the NBA All-Star whose girlfriend and mother are attacked by robbers who are part of a gang who were attacking basketball stars during the big playoffs, and he decides to get revenge because it turns out he's a martial arts master. And it was a lot of fun, and it was crazy how stacked that cast is, because it turned out it was directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who did like Captain Marvel and stuff like that. And so, I said Pedro Pascal, but they also got Ben Mendelsohn in probably his most like sleazy, villainous, just most hateable character. Like he plays this racist Oakland detective. And I mean, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of neo-Nazis and skinheads get their ass beat. So, that's always a good time.
Yeah.
Always.
So
you're saying that Correia, to get even with the NBA, took out a hit on all these NBA players to try to free up.
Whoa! Wait,
what are you try
about?
to free up Ball Arena for a Kylie Minogue concert.
First and foremost, don't be putting stuff out there in the ether of me having plots against people with way more money than me.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you say these days, don't you?
Yeah, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
But also, I mean, one moment back to that Ball Arena. Come on, Colorado. Oh, we're building a sports arena where there's going to be a bunch of sports. What should we do? Well, they all have balls in common because they play with balls. It's like, yeah, let's do that, even though they also do fucking hockey.
Yeah, let's call it the Puck Arena when the Avalanche are playing there.
But I also can't make fun of another arena's name because because LA, we have crypto.com,
Oh man, I hate that.
cryptobank.com. Like, I mean, come on. But at least that we got money for it to be called that. Y'all chose to call it Ball Arena. So
At this point, I preferred the Staples Center
right. I don't know why, but that sounds better.
because crypto sucks.
Yeah, that's true. I do have some Korea book Nook recommendations. I'll rapid fire them because I recently got a new refurbished Fire book for like $40, and so I've been hitting the Hoopla app really hard, which is another free service from your library. So check your local library if you can get an LA library. They spend the most money on these programs, so yeah, figure it out. Rapid fire. We Ride Titans is a dope mech versus kaiju story with a lesbian protagonist. It's basically lesbian Pacific Rim. It's really good with good family dynamics.
And who put that out?
It was written by Adrian F. Wassel. It's an indie comic, but you can find it digitally or your local comic. It's just one trade right now.
And what was it called again?
We Ride Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
cool.
That one's really good. There's a new Space Ghost comic series where they take his lore very serious, and it is phenomenal. They turn who's the green guy again?
Zorak.
Zorak. They turn Zorak into like a cosmic horror cult leader, fanatic. Wow. And that's not even the coolest thing. That's just like one aspect, but they take the lore very serious, and it's really, really good. It's very like kind of like origin stories about how the siblings joined them and what their purpose is. I was blown away by it, and the artwork is incredible. I believe Dynamite is putting that out. Highly recommend that. I've been getting into Swamp Thing because I want to read from the beginning, and let me tell you, Bronze Age Swamp Thing is incredible, because they like redo his origin story after the one shot, and then they immediately ship him off to Europe for some reason. But the entire time, because Swamp Thing is a tragic character, he's a scientist, accident happens, he melds with the swamp, and he becomes the swamp monster thing who can't talk. It's a tragic monster story, classic. That's why he's so good for multiple things. But the narrator is a fucking prick, because like it's almost like every other slide they go, and this walking abomination of a former human, and it was just like, Jesus, leave the man alone. Like he's doing the best he can, fighting whatever the fuck this thing is.
They I remember reading some of the Swamp Thing comics, and they really like to emphasize just he's a monster.
Yeah, it's like if you were narrating like a nerdykin and be like, and this pipple face cunt right here can't walk down the hallway without getting wedged, and it's like, dude, leave him alone. The irony is, in that first volume, the worst issue is when he meets Batman, but they quickly make up for it in the next issue with this Lovecraftian Cronenberg horror, body horror, like elder god creature that he finds in a cave. It's great. Also, the Spider-Punk series, I think they recently just put out a volume 2, is incredible. I highly recommend it if you like that character from the comics. And then last recommendation, I finally got to really deep dive on my Garth Marenghi's TerrorTome audiobook. If you can read it, it's great. But the audiobook is, if you know Garth Marenghi from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, he's a fictional horror writer that's like a parody of Stephen King, Dean Koontz, and all them. That's just very over the top. And this is supposed to be his actual book. And if you listen to the audiobook, it's him reading it himself. And it's so weird. Like, I think it's 3 stories. And the first one is about how a fake fictional author that's like based on him starts a relationship with a cursed typewriter that's not only typing like evil, but he's also having sex with it. And so there's like entire passages just talking about like the typewriter mashing his bits and stuff, and like how that's doing it for him. And I'm being very like censored with how it is. They go into very graphic details on those sex scenes, and it is hilarious. And again, it's through the voice of Garth Marenghi, and Garth Marenghi reads everything. He goes front page, Garth Marenghi's TerrorTome, about the author. Like just reads like the whole sleeve before getting into the book. It's brilliant. Highly recommend.
I still love that the main inspiration for Garth Marenghi was the teaser trailer for Maximum Overdrive, where Stephen King says, "I'm going to scare you to death."
Yeah,
like that's where they started.
that's the energy of Garth Marenghi. Yeah, that's perfect. He's just very over the top. He's like, and if there is a way to add like an extra adjective to a noun, Garth Marenghi adds 6. That's like if you took out all the adjectives, all the parables, all that from it, the chapter goes from like 100 pages to like 5. It's insane, and it's, again, as an audiobook, it is the funniest thing. I really annoyed Lindsay on that drive back from Palm Springs the other day listening to that.
So a couple of things that I don't know if you guys have seen, a couple of not really horror, but action movies. Have you guys seen A Working Man?
No,
no, I didn't get
but
that.
I know, I know it's beekeepers.
No,
Beekeeper
it
boys.
isn't. It isn't.
It's the boys that made
it's the guys. Yeah, it is not. I was expecting it to be the Beekeeper Part 2, and it was not. It's not nearly as much fun. It's not as over the top. It's basically, I mean, Jason Statham. Don't even pretend that the character has a name. He's Jason Statham, and he is he works for this construction company, and their daughter gets kidnapped, so he has to save him from this Russian mob. And it's just not fun. It's not as much fun as the Beekeeper. The Beekeeper was just, by the end of the Beekeeper, he's fighting off Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle villains.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just not that fun. And there's also one scene towards the beginning where like he's like a construction foreman, and all these guys show up and start beating up one of his guys, and he goes up there and kicks all their asses and, tells them, "Get off my site," and you think, okay, this is our inciting incident. Well, no, that goes nowhere. That just proves what a badass he is. And you're like, wait, so these guys aren't going to come back and try to finish this? I don't know. It was a little disappointing, but they do have the ultimate Family Guy where he's fighting a guy, and then they stop fighting, and he goes, "You're not a cop. You're a working man." Yeah. So it does have that. But yeah, Working Man is not, it's no Beekeeper Part 2.
So if it's not good, can't be fun like Beekeeper, is it at least like, is it more, it leans more towards like Taken and being serious? Because I mean, it is about human trafficking a bit, right?
Yeah, it does lean more towards that. Only Jason Statham is not Liam Neeson. He's more like pure muscle and not as clever. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Jason Statham's and Liam Neeson's are two different flavors of ice cream.
Exactly.
I mean,
and I think Jason Statham tastes better with a little bit of bee honey on him, I'd say, because the Beekeeper was awesome. But yeah, Working Man, not so much. But also, another action movie that's not really horror, The Amateur. Do you guys see The Amateur?
I did. I saw that trailer and went, "That's a dad movie. I'm there."
The thing is, The Amateur, I did kind of want it to be a little campier, especially when they get into some of the tech stuff that he does, which is, it's not quite, two idiots, one keyboard, but some of the tech stuff that he does, because he's like a cryptographer or whatever. He's a code breaker for the CIA. And what happens is, the elevator pitch for this is his wife goes to London and is killed in a terrorist attack. So he goes to his bosses, and he's a CIA code breaker, but he goes to them and says, "I want you to train me as an agent so I can take my revenge on these guys myself." And he actually has dirt on his bosses, so he kind of blackmails them into letting him do this. And Lawrence Fishburne, it's Rami Malek is the guy, and Lawrence Fishburne is the guy training him. And when he goes, he's trying to train him to shoot, and he can't hit the side of a freaking building.
He's a real amateur at it.
Dude, he's very much an amateur. And at one point, Lawrence Fishburne hold her fire and moves him like 3/4 of the way down the range. And then he can start hitting the arms of this target. And he goes, "Okay, so at least now we know you got to be point blank to do this." So, and that kind of is the rest of the movie when he does end up, because he's smart enough to track down who killed his wife, but he has to find more creative ways to kill them because he can't shoot for shit. In fact, they even make a joke of it at one point, and this is shown in the commercial where there's a guy swimming in a pool between two buildings, and it's kind of a fun thing. Basically, the way he gets that guy is he destroys the pool and the guy falls. But at one point, they ask him, "Well, why don't you just shoot the glass?" And he's all, "You've never seen me shoot."
Well, and I think that's the thing with the movie, because again, I went in expecting like a real dad thriller or whatever. Lindsay can attest that I annoyed the piss out of them for months whenever that trailer came up. I would just like right before the title came up, I was like, I don't think this guy knows what he's doing. I don't think he's a professional. And then they're not paying attention, so they go, what? And then the screen would go, the amateur. And so when I saw the movie, I timed it perfectly. There was just one of those moments, and Lindsay put a person between us. I mean, they put our friend Pat between us because they knew this was coming. But I just turned to Pat. I was like, I don't think this guy knows what he's doing. I don't think he's a professional. And that was the most fun I had, because every time he did something, I was like, man, what is this, amateur hour?
They didn't go out as far as a working man. He didn't say, this guy's not a professional, he's the amateur.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been amazing.
But I think that's one of the things, like, because when it was just doing like government conspiracy thriller spy stuff, it's really solid. I think first and foremost, how he does kill people because he can't do guns is very jigsawy and over the top. There's like one part where he tries to kill someone with pollen. That's like the first thing, and in which case I'm like, dude, this is fucked up. You're trying to kill this person with serious allergies with pollen? Like, dude, that's worse than just shooting someone.
Yeah, it's like that movie Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler. Remember that?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah, or even the pool scene that they show off in the trailers. It's like, okay, what about everyone? Because it's a pool that is a bridge between two tall skyscrapers.
What about people in the street?
What about the people below it? What about, you hear some really horrific screams come out of there that's not from that guy, and it's like, did other people get injured or die? What the fuck? And I think the worst thing about it is the director of it did a bunch of Black Mirror episodes and a lot of other BBC. I think he did some Doctor Who as well. Is a lot of these set pieces don't feel big. And it all felt small, kind of like on that TV thing, even though, like, especially that bridge one, like, they had budget and stuff. And, you know, it's fine. It's a solid. I'd recommend, if it goes to a streaming service, check it out. It's a fun time, especially if you're sitting there and every time he does something, you just go, what is this, amateur hour? Like, that was a blast.
I wanted more of that, especially seeing some, like, the weird stuff. Like at one point, because he knows the CIA, he's gone rogue and the CIA is after him. And at one point he fools them into thinking he's in like 3 other different cities. And the way he does that, you're like, okay, I can see this being possible, but it was a little too easy for him. So the way that
he invented 70% of their technology, as they bluntly state in the thing. And also, you just gotta have to go like, okay, cool. So this is hackers to hack the world, baby.
It kind of, that's what some of the tech reminded me of. Not quite as stupid as, you know, a rabbit that actually eats. Yes, the technology and hackers, I'm calling it stupid. Correia is looking at me with
what a fight. Do you want to fight? I'm taking my shirt off now. Like, we'll meet at Applebee's. How dare you?
Going to San Diego.
Yeah, how dare? Listen. Listen. Kylie's canceled. I got nothing to live for, man. I will meet you in the Applebee's parking lot. Let's do this.
To live
for.
How
dare you besmirch hackers?
No, I love hackers, but you have to admit the tech is kind of silly. Crash and burn.
Oh.
On another note, back on horror, did either of you guys see Hell of a Summer?
Oh no, I want to. That's the Finn Wolfhard movie, right?
Yeah, Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick. Like, they both directed, co-wrote, and starred in it. And you know, I thought it was actually a really fun summer camp slasher throwback, because it's basically about, it's kind of a modern update, because like usually in these summer camp slasher movies, like the counselors are all assholes or jerks, and they kind of just updated that for Gen Z. And I do kind of like the premise, because it's like there's this one counselor, Jason, whose name is Jason, is played by Fred Hetchinger, and he's been going to the same summer camp since he was a kid, and he's 24 years old, and he's trying to like climb his way to being, I don't know, like assistant head of the camp. And the owners of the camp are mysteriously missing, i.e., dead, and so they're just kind of setting things up, not knowing that there's a killer on the loose. And yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's an 88-minute summer camp slasher. It had some pretty inventive kills. Speaking of allergies, not to do too much of a spoiler, but there's a very annoying kid who keeps on bringing his allergy to peanut butter, and the killer like ties him up and torments him by, at first it seems like they're going to stab him, but then he stabs into a jar of peanut butter and threateningly approaches him with the peanut butter covered knife.
What? That did they not see that episode of Freaks and Geeks where they gave Bill peanut butter? Like, that's a horrible thing to do to someone.
Exactly.
Don't fuck with people's allergies, people, man.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of movies about people targeting people's allergies lately.
I know it's fun to rub bagels on your friend who has a gluten allergy and seeing the imprint on their arm, but like, don't do that. Especially now that I gave you the idea. Don't do that. You didn't hear it from me.
Speaking of Finn Wolfhard, I saw the new A24 movie, The Legend of Ochi, that opens this week. Either of you guys see? Have they done the pre-screenings for AAA 24 on that?
They do have the ticket out, but I was kind of had weekend plans.
Well,
so
there you
I
go.
guess I can see it now.
You
Thanks,
can.
fucking Ball Arena.
Here's the thing with Legend of Ochi. It is a beautifully shot. It's a beautiful movie. It is shot in Romania, and the locations are gorgeous. I want to figure out how much of Ochi is puppetry and how much is CG. There's like this end scene where it's pretty much all CG, but I think a lot of Ochi is puppetry. You can actually kind of see on the set where the puppeteer is like behind or underneath him. So basically it's about, there's this town that it isn't, they share space with this kind of monster, like this cryptid. And one of the leader of the cryptid hunters is Willem Dafoe, and he has this army of young boys, and Finn Wolfhard's one of them, who goes hunting for these things. But he also has a daughter, and the daughter finds a young one of these Ochis in a trap, so she frees it and makes friends with it. And from a story point of view, I wanted to connect more emotionally with it than I did. It's not like E.T., where you actually feel the relationship between, man and creature. So it's a beautifully made movie, but it didn't quite hit me in the feels. There was no, creature magic to it, but the creatures are cool and the locations are amazing. And Willem Dafoe chews every stick of scenery in this damn movie, because that's what Willem Dafoe does. He reminds me of in Jojo Rabbit, Sam Rockwell. How by the end he's donning his costume to fight. Willem Dafoe kind of dons this armor that is similar to that. So it's kind of a similar character to that. But yeah,
okay.
It won't quite be Kylie Minogue, but it's worth doing since you don't have plans this weekend.
Well, I'm definitely seeing Sinners again. That's like,
yeah, no, me too.
I probably will be locking myself in a movie theater or at home playing RoboCop Rogue City. Which, if you don't play video games, let me tell you, when I remembered that I had a desktop computer that could handle something like that, RoboCop Rogue City is so good. And yes, you can shoot people in the dick like RoboCop. It's so much fun, and you get to give out parking tickets.
Nice. And in terms of new releases, this will be released by the time this episode comes out, so I can say that I saw Until Dawn, and I had a very fun time with it. Like,
Yeah.
Have either of you played the games?
Yes,
I have not. No.
Until Dawn is again it's a tragic victim to my ADHD of like, I'll play it for a bit and then I'll ADHD out, go somewhere else, come back and be like, I don't remember the controls, I don't remember what I'm doing, I lost the plot. And but Until Dawn is the game, that and The Quarry, which is the spiritual sequel, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, you won't have to worry about playing it for 9 to 12 hours because they managed to get it down to a nice hour and a half. But yeah, it's pretty fun because it's not the same story. They kind of transplanted the concept to this kind of time loop story, which they show in the trailers that like this group of friends, they end up in this weird house in the wilderness and they get killed, but then they immediately come back to life. So it's also like well, I mean, not like Until Dawn, the video game, because you can't you save respawn, but like any other typical video game, you can save respawn. So it's kind of like that. And yeah, no, and I really dug it because there's such a variety of monsters and killers. Like there's a slasher, there's a witch, there's uh, a lot of ghouls and zombies and a little bit of a spoiler, but there are Wendigo, like from the original game.
Nice.
And a lot of practical effects too, which I really dug. And yeah, no, and Peter Stormare doing what Peter Stormare does best and being very creepy.
Well, he's in the games as well, so you kind of had to have him in it. It wouldn't be Until Dawn then. And also the fact that you said that there's ghouls in it, you know how much we love ghouls, so.
Oh yeah, you got to have your ghouls.
Oh, I mean, what's the point? What's the point of doing anything if there's no ghouls involved?
Exactly. But yeah, no, I really dug it. I mean, it's a very different spin on the games and just kind of more, using some plot elements and more iconic monsters and creatures from them. But yeah, I thought David F. Sandberg did a good job of setting up a lot of fun scares and again, the creature effects was outstanding. And yeah, no, I really dug it. It's kind of a monster mash type movie, which, we're always down for a graveyard smash.
I didn't know it was David F. Sandberg. That's kind of cool.
Lights Out and
Lights
Animal
Out,
Creation
Shazam.
and Shazam's David F. Sandberg. He directed it.
Right on. Cool. I was not aware of that, but I also wasn't aware that it was a video game. So God, where have I been?
You would like those games because it's one of those like you make choices and it influences it. So
yeah, it's more of a cinematic game.
Yeah, and Rami Malek is in the first one with and Hayden Penitentiary and like the
Penitentiary.
Penitentiary. I was just made fun of for mispronouncing her name because I was talking about Bring It On 3 and how just straight up racist that movie is. It's incredible. The Bring It On franchise is great.
I got all they had a deal where you get like all whatever 7 movies for $8. So I might have to binge the Bring It Ons.
I almost did that deal, but I already had the collection that came out before Cheer or Die on DVD. I got it from a Rite Aid for $1, and I was like, all right, I can't justify getting a digital version if I have it all on DVD.
I didn't have any of them. I've only seen the first one, the one with what's her head, Elijah Dushku
and Kirsten Dunst. Yeah.
Oh. That's the only one that I've seen.
That's the best one.
Maybe I'll need to burn through. It's better than Cheer or Die.
Yeah, I think I had too high of expectations for Cheer or Die.
So let's call this one an episode here. I hope you guys all like the episodes where all we do is talk to each other because that's what you got here. Mainly because we had a lot to talk about because we haven't, again, apologize for missing a couple episodes. Sometimes, life finds a way and we get busy and sick and, upset with Kylie Minogue, or I should say upset with the city of Denver sports.
I will never be upset with Kylie Minogue. All right. Because even Jack and Diane, which I was like, why is this a monster movie? That movie, it was still redeemed because it had a tattooed up Kylie Minogue making out with Riley Keough. And like that alone just like made my day.
All right. Well, bottom line of today's episode, which if you take nothing else away from it, go see Sinners on a big screen with a great sound system.
Multiple times.
Yes. See it as many times as possible. And let's get this into the Oscar conversation. That would be amazing. So anyway, we will, let's get out of here. Our theme song is by Restless Spirit. Hey, Restless Spirit is playing San Diego tomorrow night.
Oh shit. You got to go.
I know. Actually, San Diego, not LA. So yeah, woohoo! Our theme song by Restless Spirit. So go check them out. Our artwork is by Chris Fisher. So go check him out. You can find us on all the socials under Eye on Horror, or at iHorror.com, which is the site we all call home. And yeah, we'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks with an actual topic. And more stuff to talk about, because there's always good. We're past the dead point of movies coming out, and there's good ones always now. So we will see you in a couple of weeks. So for me, James J. Edwards,
I'm Jacob Davison,
and I'm Jonathan Correia.
Keep your eye on horror.